Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Mr. Bungustayo. My name is Frank Daniels and today we will be making a hot and very spicy Calabrian sausage that is spreadable called andouille. And here is what the finished product will look like. Are you ready, Steve? Let's start this project. Well, today I'm going to be making andouille. And I'm using the recipe from my friend Michele in Calabria, Italy. So this is what it's going to look like. Steve, do you fill me in on that? I hope it'll look like that. But first what we have to do is cut up our peppers and salt them to sweat out some of the water in the peppers so that the sausage isn't too moist. Okay, what we're going to do is I'll film that. I'll cut these up. Well, actually, let me start cutting them right now. All right. And I'm just going to take out the ribs. And the seeds. And I'm going to cut them in strips. Now I'm going to run these through my meat grinder so that it mixes with the meat that I'm grinding up. Today I'm using pork belly. Now Michele, he uses pork belly, but he also uses another type of pork meat that we can't get here in the United States. They just don't make that cut here. I've seen some people use guanciale. That's another thing that we can't get. The only way we can really get guanciale is if we buy it smoked. You know, smoked and cured. So, yes, I know, I trimmed off that top of the pepper. When I'm off camera, I will get the rest of it. I just bought these peppers yesterday. They're organic, and already they're starting to get soft on me. And I washed the peppers first. There was a little dirt on them from the field. So we'll cut these up. And then we have, here's my pork belly that I have. I have about 6.5 pounds, which is probably somewhere around 3 kilos. And it looks really good. And then these are my casings that I'll be using. Last night I put them in water with lemons. I didn't have oranges, otherwise I would have put orange slices in there too. But they look beautiful, there's no smell, and this is what we'll be stuffing them in. Alright. We'll be back in a couple of minutes after I finish cleaning up this board. Okay, I'm back again. Here's my peppers. I cleaned them up, took all the seeds out and the inside ribs, and now I'm going to salt them. The salt that I'm using today is Saldamar or Saldamar. It's actually from Portugal. It's a Portuguese salt. So okay, that should be enough. And now what I'll do is mix it. Wait a little while. You can see they're all salted up nicely. I'll wait a little bit and then I think I might put a weight on it just to help press the liquid out of the peppers. But after these are salted, I'll rinse them to get the salt off and then I'll put them through the grinder along with the meat. Now the meat we're going to be grinding probably 2 times, and I'll be grinding it on the finest blade that I have. I have 3 blades. I don't know if you'd call them a blade or a die. And you notice I have a cutting wheel for each one of them. A butcher told me one time to never use the same cutting wheel on different dies. And the reason is because each die has a different type of surface. It could, it could vary, I guess, not being so smooth. And what happens is if you keep on using it on, say, this one, it might have a groove in it that you can't notice. And then when you put it through here, it just won't cut as well. So always match up your dies with the proper cutting, with the cutting wheel. All right, we're going to leave this for a little while, and then we'll start on the meat. Okay. Just cutting up the meat into thin slabs so that they will process nicely through my meat grinder. I'll tell you, the meat grinder that I have isn't the greatest, but it works. One of these days I'll get a new one, probably a professional one. Now when I'm boning meat, I always put this metal glove on. First I'd wear this glove. I think it's a Kevlar, I'm not sure, but the knife doesn't cut through it. And then I put the metal glove on. But just for this, I don't need to. Watch, I'll probably have an accident now. I think my knife can use a little sharpening. So as you can see, this is pancetta. This is the bacon. It's the belly of the pig. And it's very fatty, as you can see. And that's what andouille needs, a fatty meat, so that it makes the salumi spreadable. Okay, so here's all of our meat. As I said, it's about 3 kilos. And now we'll get ready and put it through the meat grinder. Okay. Okay, I'm getting ready to grind this meat. And to that, I will add my sweet peppers. Actually, I just spoke with my friend Michele over in Italy, and he told me not to add as many peppers as I had. So what I'll be doing is just adding 150 grams of the peppers. And here is the hot pepper that I'll be using. Michele sent this to me from his garden. He grows tons of peppers every year, and he grinds and processes them himself. So here's some of the meat, and then here's some on the table. Oh, by the way, he also told me that I had to add a little bit extra meat to my mix. I questioned him and asked him if I should add a leaner meat, but he didn't think it should be leaner, but he thought there should be a little bit more meat with fat in it. So I had a pork shoulder here, and I was going to make a capicola. Well, we call it copa. And you've seen me make it here before. I have it on my channel. I think it's on my old channel. But anyway, what I did was I took the trimmings from that along with the fat. It's not a whole bunch of fat, but this is the first time I'm making this, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might have to wait for Michele to come back and visit, or I'll go to his house in Italy and actually make it with him and see exactly what parts of the pig they use along with the pancetta, which is the bacon of the pig. Okay, so I'm going to start grinding this, and I think I'm going to silence it because this machine that I have is very, very loud. And if you notice, I'm using the very small holes I think it's about 10 millimeters, or maybe 3/16 of an inch. You can see as I move away, it's smaller. And I'll pass some of the meat through, then I'll add the peppers, and after I grind it all, what I'll do is I'll put it through the grinder again so that I can get that real smooth texture out of it. Okay, here we go. Let's turn on the machine. It's noisy. As you can see, I ran it through the second time. And here you can see, you can see what it looked like when it came out of the machine. And now it's like a paste, like a pate. Now, look up here. Okay, I had a hard time putting it into this hole. That doesn't sound right. But anyway, I had to keep on mashing it in, mashing it. So now, there's still stuff in here. If you bring the camera over, Stephen, can you see that in there? So now I'm going to turn the machine on and I'll put this in to force it down. I don't want to put my fingers in too far. Otherwise we'll have fingers in this food. Okay, here we go. Now, I guess that's about it. So let me clean this off here. My dog is here waiting for a sample, but I wouldn't dare give him this because I know it's probably going to be too spicy for him. Okay. Now, to get this out, what I do is I just turn it on again and then off. And there we go. I'll just add this in. I'm sure it's ground up enough from constantly rotating in here. And let me get the blade out. You can see how running it through a second time really crushed up the pepper. Here you could see the sweet pepper. Well, I guess it's still solid in here too. But anyway, actually, there's one piece I didn't want to put in here. It's a big piece of fat. Okay. So then we trim this off. And that's it for now. Now, what I'll do is I'll add the salt in. I'm adding just about 28%, 2.8% salt. And the salt is what's going to cure it. I really should have this unplugged while I do it, but my hands are too dirty to unplug it. And the cameraman is busy. Okay, now, here's the salt. I have about 95 grams of salt. I know you think, you're going to say it looks like a lot of salt, but the salt is what's going to cure it so that it's edible in about a month or so. Okay, I'll be back in a minute after I mix this up, because now we have to get ready to put it into the casings. I think what I'm going to do first is refrigerate this a little bit, just so it gets a little stiffer. Okay. Ready. Okay, we're stuffing the casing now with the andouille meat. I don't know how good this videoing is going to be. If you ever saw the way I have the camera attached to the tripod, it's very difficult. And my wife is going to crank the sausage maker for me, but she has two bad shoulders just like me. So we're not sure if she'll be able to do it or not. But let's give it a shot, Ellie. Let's see, crank it that way. Okay, here we go. Okay, here it comes. We're making andouille. I should have clamped the sausage maker down.
I can't do this with my shoulders, Frank.
No?
No.
Well, can you hold the sausage maker and I'll try to crank it?
Don't have to give me a black eye.
I know, I feel like I'm gonna hit you in the head as I'm turning this thing. I think it's time to buy an electric one.
Maybe when Steven comes in after he eats his sandwich, maybe he can help you. Wow.
Let me try it a little bit more. I hope I'm still lined up in the camera. Okay, let's see what I have here. This is not going as planned. think that's about how big I'm going to make it. There's a lot of air in there. Okay. Let me see if we're still in the camera frame. Well, how's that? And I can't find my proper kitchen twine. I'm using this stuff. I'm doubling it up. Actually, let's take this right off here.
Can't you stuff it with something else? Like a turkey baster or something?
No, turkey baster won't work. Can you grab that string and pull it?
Must I?
Yeah. It's just an intestine. Okay. I don't know if that was in the camera or not when I tied it in the frame or not, but here goes. I'm making another knot on here.
How's your neck? Ooh, sorry.
It's still hurting.
I have to put my groceries
Now,
away.
let me tie it again. So that I have a sealed piece, a sealed end for the next one. See, this twine, I have to double it up. This is not the right twine. This is a very thin cotton. All right. Try it again. I should put, I have metal aluminum hog hooks. That's probably what I should be using now.
There's bagels here.
So, all right. Then I'll just have to prick this later to get the air out of it. All right, I'm going to stuff the rest of this and then I'll be back. Hi folks, I didn't cover it in the video, but after your andouille is completed, it needs to be cold smoked for about 8 hours. That will give it a nice, smoky, picante taste. Thank you. And as always, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe and hit the like button.